Hi, this is Lynn Ballinger. I'm here in the Pearl of Africa in Uganda, where we just finished touching many pastors' lives. And I want you to join with me to hear from one of my very good friends, Canisius Gacura. I want you to hear this testimony, and I want you to understand the power of God that works in places like this. This man came from literally near death many times, and now he's leading over multiple churches in the nation of Rwanda. Watch with me and open your hearts as you listen to him share his story.
Hey, my name is Canisius Gacura from Rwanda, and I'm a pastor of Rwanda Christian Outreach Worship Center churches in Rwanda, and the president. And the Rwanda Christian Outreach Ministry is affiliated with the World Outreach Ministry Foundation, and through Uganda Christian Outreach Ministry, that was where Rwanda Christian Outreach was born. I'm so grateful of what God has done. I'm a father of 4, 3 sons and one daughter, and my beautiful wife. We are doing such a great work in Rwanda. So I'm so thankful of what God is doing through our partnership. May God richly bless you. I was born in 1978, and during that time, many of you know it was the reign of Idi Amin here in the nation of Uganda where I was born. And as I told you, my parents had origin in Rwanda, but I was born here in Uganda since my parents were refugees here in Uganda. And it ended up, as you know, what Uganda went through from 81 up to 86. There were civil wars going on here in Uganda. And in 85, it happened that I was bitten by a dangerous snake called Pafada. And for 3 weeks, I had no medical attention. And from there, several things happened. You know, for 3 weeks, as I had no medical attention, I ended up my foot, due to the poison of the snake, my foot was getting worse. It ended up getting rotten, and it ended up having hundreds of maggots. Some of my foot bones came out, but miraculously God helped me to survive. Then I got measles. Then after measles, I got polio when I was around 9 years old. And you ask yourself, when you go through all those challenges, is God there? And if He's there, why am I going through all this? And from that time, I felt hopeless. When polio came, I had to go through brutal mistreatment. I had to end up in the hands of traditional healers or witch doctors who ended up mistreating me for several months. And they could hang me for hours. I could fall down. Imagine someone who cannot even sit by himself. So I ended up being caned every day, like 2 times a day. And it was a very hard scenario. I ended up crying, not knowing. I know what it means to cry without hope. During those years, I felt God was not there. And afterwards, it's amazing that through all that, I remember after getting mistreatment from witch doctor number 1, number 2, he ended up letting my dad and telling him, you know what, I regret to say, I can't help your son. You better get him home and wait for the day he's to die. I saw tears rolling into my father's face, and he ended up carrying me back home. The only option was there to wait for my death. But coming home for over 2 years, I didn't know. Even sitting, they needed to lean on me. I needed someone to lean on for several years. It was a very hard scenario. For over 12 years without a wheelchair. I had no opportunity of going to school until I was 15 years old. But during that very time, I felt God never loved me. I felt He hated me. And I reached the time of saying, I wish I can see God and ask Him questions. If He fails to answer me, we go in the ring and fight each other. I learned several things. I developed bitterness and anger I started learning smoking because they told me that smoking reduces sadness. And life was difficult, and I was crawling. I had sores on my foot, on my legs, everywhere. And all my siblings went to school. I never got opportunity to go to school. But miraculously, I tried several suicides, but the complete ones were free. And I want to let everyone watching this video know that even if you don't know God, God loves you so dear. And I remember 2 times attempting my suicide, and I had to go and crawl to the well which was nearby. It was like 2 kilometers away from our house. And reaching there, this was a deep well, and I wanted to dump myself and drown there. Reaching at the edge of the well, miraculously, I don't know how God did a miracle. From nowhere, someone appeared. And this happened 2 times on 2 different occasions. 2 different people appearing on the time when I'm on the edge, just about to dump myself in the well to die. The last time I picked a pesticide, which is used to kill ticks from cows. And that's what I wanted to take. But in a miraculous way, instead of taking the entire container of 2 liters full of pesticide, I poured in the lid, and as I was going to take, fear from nowhere came and raptured me, and I started shaking, The voice was telling me, don't take it. But this was a commanding voice, telling me, don't take it. And I poured back at the pesticide, and I had tested. This pesticide burnt my tongue, and it was too bitter. But miraculously God helped. And from there, after 3 weeks, I had a conviction telling me, you need Jesus. I went and accepted Jesus. And from that day when I accepted Christ, peace which surpasses all understanding took over my life. And from that day, I've seen the Lord being so faithful. At the age of 15, I went to school, and miraculously, as I am talking now, God has been so faithful that I went through the elementary school, I went through the high school, I went through the Bible school, and God has been so good. I'm now pursuing my doctorate, now as I'm saying, in biblical studies and leadership. So the Lord has been so good. Then after some time, I had to join the Bible school, and in my second year of the Bible school, God spoke to me to go back my cradleland, which was Rwanda, to begin a ministry. And it was a journey of faith from nowhere. I went back. I had never seen someone in the wheelchair pioneering a church, but God sent me in that place. And through the obedience, we began from the scratch. The church began in my living room. And as we can say now, God has been so good. We have planted over 4 churches in the nation of Rwanda. We have seen God sent me in that nation which suffered a lot of the 1994 genocide, the genocide which claimed over 1 million people in 100 days. That's every day. A country which had over 6 million people. Every day, the genocide claimed over 10,000 people. And God sent me in this staunch Muslim community. The community was called Nyamirambo, which means a place of dead bodies. And when we reached there, we felt God leading us, because our churches are called worship centers, and we felt the Lord leading us to change the name of that place, because Jesus came to give us life, and the life in abundance. We called that place a living worship center. Nyabugingo, which means a living worship center, was born in that place. And we have seen God ministering to the genocide survivors, even people the perpetrators, bringing reconciliation. We are now planting churches. The Lord has been so good. We have seen God changing even Muslims coming to Christ. We are so grateful. And now, as I talk, the Lord has been so good. We have planted, as I told you, several churches, and we want to see more churches planted. We want to see, we have built now a ministry center. We are just missing a bit, like 35,000 to finish everything. we are going to have a Bible school it's going to have a center for people with the disabilities, where we are going to help people with the disabilities with mobility, but above all, share the hope of Jesus. We want to build medical centers, we want to build the schools, we want to do outreach evangelism in the nation of Rwanda. We want to train pastors. Rwanda is a country which is whereby all the pastors, now it's a requirement from the government to have every pastor trained in a college or in a university which is accredited. Pastors are required to have degrees in theology that they can be able to lead the churches. So we are praying for men and women of God to partner with us to see that the gospel of Jesus reaches Rwanda. I believe this is the time when Rwanda is not going to be remembered of genocide, but it's going to be remembered of revival and of the vibrant work of God in this nation. And I believe when we team up, we need to see the transformation. We had several orphans. We have got several people who need hope. And I believe this is the right time for the church to step in this nation. And God has been speaking to us. That church is going to have a prayer center. It's going to have a sanctuary. It's going to have centers, I told you, for people with disabilities, a Bible school to train the world changers, and it has been a blessing. So your partnership means a lot, and together, to team up, we can see a difference. And God has been really speaking to us to restore and build the foundation of this nation, no matter what the enemy has done in this nation. But we believe what God is going to do is more greater than what the enemy has done. And thank you so much. Together, we can make a difference. You can come. We are welcoming ministers, servants of God, ministry teams to come and team up with us to make a difference. Together, we can make a difference. Thank you.